All right, everyone, let's get settled down. I just want to introduce myself before we get started. I am Brianna. I am the head of the disciplinary board for our district, and I just gathered everyone here today with a heavy heart. As you guys all know, there has been yet another tragic school shooting in Texas. This is unacceptable. These are our babies, our children, our future who are being killed in our schools, a place where they are supposed to feel safe, learn, and grow. Instead, these students are being met with violence. How can parents be expected to send their kids to schools and trust that they'll be in a safe environment? I'm tired of reading and hearing about these events. Change needs to happen now. We have seen a recent rise in school violence rates throughout all schools in this district. So, in light of these recent events, I've decided to gather us all here today to discuss some possible actions we could take to ensure our school is safe and that our children are safe. We have recently received some funding to help implement policies that will help us discipline our students and programs to help combat the rise in school violence. As teachers of our schools, I'd like to hear from you all, as you are the ones who are working with these alongside these students and know what will benefit them the most. So, what are your guys' thoughts about the recent events, and how are we gonna act immediately in response to these incidents?
Hi, I guess I can start. Hi, I'm Shayan, he, him, his pronouns. I've been a literature teacher here for 3 years now, and I actually have two of my own kids who go to this school, and I'm getting very concerned with the safety of their lives because the last thing I want is for them to get involved in one of these tragic incidents. And one thing I notice is we need to start having SROs on this campus in order to establish school safety. Not only will they help protect our students, but they will act as enforcers of the school policies we put in. We need to use this funding to put in these SROs to ensure that everyone falls under the line and doesn't behave in a manner that can lead to more of these violent, damaging acts against our communities. It may not be the most fun having to helicopter over these students, but as their mentors and guardians and parents, their safety is our responsibility. We must do everything we can to make sure nothing happens to them, even if it means having them resent us for it.
My name is Daniel. I'm a new history teacher and I'm hoping to move our district towards inclusive, evidence-based approaches to discipline. I'm unconvinced that SROs are really making our students safer. They make students feel uncomfortable, and even worse, they disproportionately target students of color. If anything, they make our students less safe.
Hi, I'm Mariella, and I have been involved with grassroots community movements ever since I've learned about the unjust school system. I really appreciate this new money coming in and feel like the money could be implemented in what I do. So I agree that SROs should not be working alongside police on campus. It's simply not working, and I'd be open to the idea, but as everyone has said, nothing is changed. Marginalized students are not being helped, and listening to them, speaking out, and starting at the root of the problem, which is rooted in systemic injustice, is what we need to do.
I agree. Nothing has changed. My name is Joe Sanoff. I've been a physics teacher for 25 years now. I'm about to retire. And look, I see you're not too fond of the idea of police or SROs on campus, but if not that, then what? Like, I'm worried about how else we can handle the recent rise in school violence. Our campuses right now don't have any SROs. So how can we help address altercations between students? Maybe instead, why don't we arm our staff members? That might be a good idea.
Wow, so you want to arm our staff members? I see. Okay. So what are some of the other thoughts other staff members have regarding giving guns to our teachers so that they could help protect not only themselves but our students and make sure they're safe?
Listen, I'm just gonna go out and say that I agree with Joe because as a parent, I would feel much more safe knowing that my students are in classrooms where their students are armed, ready to protect them. I think that it is crucial to ensure the safety of ourselves and our students. And instead of like just sitting back and doing nothing and being sitting ducks, we need to prove ourselves and be armed and prepared to protect our schools if it ever falls into our responsibility. If you guys don't want to have SROs, whatever, that's fine. But we need someone armed in order to counter combat these violent, unstable school shooters. We need to react with immediate responses to these immediate threats.
one. Yeah, so your solution to the gun problem is to add more guns. It's a ridiculous one. Let's be armed with our voices of justice and peace instead.
I completely agree with you, Mariela. Hi, my name is Teresa Dai. I go by she, her, hers. I've been a seventh grade history teacher for over 15 years now, and I have kids of my own back home. And my main concern is keeping our children safe. However, without gun violence, I believe that having guns on campus is not the solution. It'll create an environment of fear for both the students and the teachers. Arming the staff cannot promise a safe environment for our children. The money that would be used for guns could easily be redirected to on-campus resources like extra counselors and on-campus therapy.
Yeah, I see that you guys have some disagreeing ideas regarding SROs and giving staff guns, but if not this, then what are some other ideas you guys have about implementing policies that could prevent violence within our schools?
If we want to prevent violence, we need to be focusing on providing students with the support they need, not punishing them. We need to make sure students have access to resources like counselors and school psychologists. Strong mental health support is our best option to prevent violence on campus.
Exactly. Starting by empowering the marginalized community because it does not only start at the school. The term is transformative justice, and it's having community that allows for people to hold each other accountable for themselves. We shouldn't start by suspending and removing students from the community. Instead, we invite them to conversate about the issues they're having. A lot could be solved by just listening to these students. And as adults who care about them, we must guide them to the right path of making peace without needing to escalate any more violence.
The thing is, that's the purpose of the zero tolerance policy. It's to punish students early so they won't continue on a violent path. As I've said, I've been teaching for 25 years. I've seen all sorts of stuff in my classroom. I've had fights break out during the middle of my lecture. What needs to be done for the good of all of the students is removing those who are creating the problems and punishing them so they don't cause more problems in the future. We must be swift and harsh to create control in our classrooms.
Okay. Well, I see the appeal for both zero tolerance policies and transformative justice, but I have to say I'm a bit hesitant about this zero tolerance approach, Joe. I heard that there's been some backlash regarding zero tolerance. People say that these policies tend to target people of color. And honestly, I don't want this to be our case. Our school has a heavy amount of people of color. So what are some other teachers' thoughts on this?
Yeah, it's a clear problem, and it's not just people who talk. There's real data on who's getting suspended. Over 50% of students that are arrested or involved with law enforcement are Hispanic or African American. So does this not say something that zero tolerance is disproportionately affecting these students? Teachers and administrators have been proven to judge students differently based not only on their race but gender as well. So this is racialized and a gendered issue. Joe, the fights you're talking about, they might as well start before school. This starts in the community. There's a bigger issue that is affecting students who come to the classroom. These outside systems of oppression hang over these young kids, and it becomes that the school becomes unsafe because the outside world is not safe.
I wholeheartedly agree. The data very clearly shows that zero tolerance policies lead to Hispanic and African American students being disproportionately suspended, expelled, and even arrested. All of these punishments have long-lasting consequences for student success in school and beyond. Zero tolerance policies will contribute to already unacceptable levels of economic inequality.
I think we need to start reframing the way that we view zero tolerance policy, because the whole point of it is to prevent and punish bullying and discrimination in the first place for students from all backgrounds and identities. These policies are meant to protect students from one another, not hurt them.
Wow, thank you guys all for that. You guys shared a lot today. I could clearly see that you guys are very passionate about this and want the very best for our students. I just want to thank you all for coming today. It's a very much appreciated taking your time from your busy schedules. I want you all to know that as teachers, you guys play such a key role in our students' lives and are essential parts to making sure our schools are running smoothly. So thank you again for doing what you do. Thank you all for sharing your thoughts and ideas on how we could better discipline our students and make sure our schools are safe, a safe environment. We've had some really good ideas presented, zero tolerance policies, transformative justice. And I definitely have some things I need to think more about before we make a definite decision. But I will make sure to continue and try and keep you guys involved as much as possible. So just once again, thank you for sharing your guys' thoughts. I'll be taking them all into consideration, and I will make sure to keep you guys all updated on how we will be moving forward. So thank you all.